everyone, welcome to our deep dive on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2.
Yeah, getting ready for Season 3.
Absolutely. We're so hyped for the upcoming season. But before we get there,
Yes.
we thought it'd be helpful to recap all the craziness that happened in Season 2. Especially for those who might need a little refresher.
Right.
Right. It's been a while since it aired.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So let's jump right into it, starting with that awesome flashback arc. That takes us back to 2006.
Oh, yeah, back in the day.
Way back when Gojo and Geto were just teenagers at Jujutsu High.
Yeah, they were just youngins then.
I know. So cool to see them before they became, the legend.
Like the bigwigs they are now.
Exactly. But even back then, Gojo was already ridiculously powerful.
Of course, like always.
Right. Even as a teenager, he was already kind of a prodigy.
Yeah, but he didn't have the same finesse he does now.
True. Like he was still figuring out some of his techniques.
He was still kind of rough around the edges back then.
Yeah. Exactly. Like the reverse cursive technique. That becomes super important later on. But in the flashback, he's still learning how to use it.
Right. Like all that insane healing he can do.
Exactly. So he was strong, but not yet
the untouchable god he is now.
The unstoppable force he becomes later. And then there's Geto.
Oh yeah, Geto.
He's already using his cursed spirit manipulation technique, which I gotta say is still kind of creepy.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got that unsettling vibe.
I mean, absorbing curses and using them like weapons, that's just wild.
And the way he talks about it, it's disgusting to him. It really shows you the kind of toll it takes,
Oh yeah, like that whole taste thing he talks about.
I know, right? Like it's some kind of awful food.
Definitely messed up. Yeah. But it really sets up the contrast between Gojo and Geto. Like, Gojo's all about raw power and confidence, while Geto's power is kind of dark and disturbing.
Definitely foreshadowing some stuff there.
Yeah, big time. And then, boom, we get Riko Amon, the star plasma vessel, thrown into the mix.
Oh, man, she just, rocks their world.
Right. This girl is destined to merge with Tenjin, the immortal sorcerer who keeps the Jujutsu world running, and her arrival just throws everything into chaos.
Oh, yeah, it's like a whole political drama unfolds.
Totally. You've got Q, this mysterious group that wants Tenjin to evolve, clashing with the Time Vessel Association, who are all about keeping things the way they are.
Like they worship Tenjin.
Right. And then, as if things weren't complicated enough, we get Toji Fushiguro, this assassin hired to kill Riko.
Yeah, Toji. What a character.
I know, right? He's like the complete opposite of a sorcerer.
He's like the anti-sorcerer.
Totally. He's got zero cursed energy, so he's invisible to most Jujutsu users.
Yeah.
But he's incredibly strong and uses these cursed tools that can negate Jujutsu.
Yeah, those things are insane. Makes him so unpredictable.
Exactly. And his plan to assassinate Riko is just so smart.
Yeah, he knew exactly how to exploit Gojo's weaknesses.
He totally plays on Gojo's protective instincts, knowing he'll exhaust himself defending Riko. And it works.
It's so heartbreaking, though. Riko wants to live a normal life, and Toji just takes that away from her.
And for Gojo, it's like a trial by fire.
He gets pushed to his absolute limit.
Right. He loses someone he swore to protect. He's facing death. And in that moment, he unlocks his full potential.
He masters the reverse cursed technique.
And unleashes Hollow Purple for the first time. It's insane.
But for Geto, it's like the opposite. It's the beginning of his downfall.
Yeah, it really messes him up. He sees the Time Vessel Association celebrating Riko's death.
Like they're happy she's gone.
Right. And it just destroys his faith in humanity.
It's like his whole worldview crumble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that, combined with the burden of his technique, it starts him down this dark path.
And then Gojo, who's now super powerful.
Yeah, he's basically unstoppable.
He starts taking on solo missions.
Leaving Geto kind of isolated.
Which only makes things worse for Geto.
Yeah, it fuels his resentment and pushes him further towards his extreme ideology.
And then we get introduced to Yuki Tsukumo.
Oh yeah, the mysterious sorcerer with a vision.
She wants a world without cursed spirits, and she proposes these radical solutions.
Like eliminating non-sorcerers altogether.
Which, let's be honest, is a pretty messed up idea.
But Geto, in his broken state, he starts to see it as the only way to end the suffering caused by curses.
And that leads to that horrifying massacre.
Yeah, when he kills that entire village.
It's so tragic. His desire to protect the weak has twisted into something monstrous.
And it marks the final break between Gojo and Geto. Their friendship is shattered because of their completely opposite views.
Yeah, it's like a battle of ideologies.
Exactly. Gojo believes in protecting everyone, while Geto wants to eradicate the source of curses entirely. And this clash sets the stage for the conflict that explodes in the Shibuya Incident.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's a story for another time.
All right, so last time we left things off with Gojo and Geto, their friendship completely broken, and Geto on this dark path, right?
Yeah, things went downhill fast.
Totally. And it all leads up to the Shibuya Incident.
Oh man, Shibuya. That's where everything goes crazy.
It's the turning point in the series, no doubt.
But before we get into the Shibuya chaos, there's that whole thing with Mekamaru, right? Kokichimuto.
Oh yeah, Meshimaru, that poor guy.
I know, right? Born with a heavenly restriction. So he's super powerful.
But he pays a huge price for it, like constantly in pain, bound to a wheelchair.
Yeah, and that desperation to be healed, it leads him to make a deal with Mahito and Gito.
And they totally manipulate him.
Oh, for sure. They promise him a cure, but it's all a lie.
They just need him to get info on Gojo. He's a pawn in their game.
And Geto, pretends to fight him fair and square. Right?
Yeah, he holds back on purpose to make Mekamaru think he has a chance. It's messed up.
So cruel. But yeah, ultimately it's all part of their plan to seal Gojo away.
Using the prison realm, that crazy artifact that can trap even the strongest sorcerer.
And to do that, they need to isolate Gojo. Distract him.
And what better place to do that than Shibuya? On Halloween night.
Oh yeah, talk about chaos.
Millions of people, the perfect cover for their plan.
They set up that huge curtain, trap civilians.
Block communications, knowing Gojo will come running.
And he does. Right into their trap.
Another curtain inside Shibuya Station. This one designed to weaken him.
So he can't use his full power without risking civilian lives.
A true dilemma. And then boom, they hit him with Jogo, Hanami, Choso.
All attacking at once. Talk about a bad day.
It's a calculated assault. They know Gojo will prioritize saving people over fighting them.
But even with his powers restricted, Gojo is still amazing.
He's ridiculously strong. And resourceful.
That 0.2-second domain expansion
takes out all the curses and transfigured humans, but without harming the civilians.
It's insane. But
that's when they get him. They play on his emotions.
He sees Geto, or what he thinks is Geto.
And it triggers the prison realm.
Sealing Gojo away? Man, what a twist.
But then we learn the truth, right? It's not actually Geto.
It's that other sorcerer.
Horitoshi Kamo. Using a body-switching technique.
So creepy. But now, with Gojo gone...
Shibuya descends into utter chaos.
Yeah, what happens to everyone else?
It's a free-for-all. Remember Mei's team with Yuji?
Yeah, they were already in Shibuya dealing with the curses.
And then Mechamaru's posthumous program activates.
He left behind those robots, right? With his memories.
Yeah. To warn the others if something happened to Gojo. He realized he was manipulated.
What a hero.
He reveals that other curtain, the one blocking sorcerers from entering the station.
So Yuji has to take that down.
Meanwhile, Megumi teams up with Aino to take down the other sorcerer-blocking curtain.
They face off against Granny Ogami and Jiro Osaka, those criminals working with Gito.
And Ino runs into the resurrected Toji.
Oh, man. Not Toji again.
That fight is intense. Granny Ogami's technique backfires because Toji has no cursed energy.
So he becomes like a permanent puppet for Toji's spirit.
Just a mindless killing machine.
And then, while all that's happening, Yuji's fighting Choso.
One of the death paintings.
Yeah, he uses that blood manipulation technique. Super creepy.
But there's this weird connection between them. Choso senses his brother's deaths through Yuji.
Like they're linked somehow?
It's a mystery. But Yuji survives that fight. And then he runs into those twin girls raised by Geto.
Adding another layer to this whole mess.
And we can't forget about Nanami, Maki, and Nayobito.
They were trying to reach Gojo, right?
Yeah, but they get stopped by Dagon, one of the special grade curses.
He evolved, right? Because of all the chaos.
Stronger than ever. They put up a good fight, though, Nayobito, with his projection sorcery.
Forcing Dagon into specific movements.
So cool. But Dagon's too strong in the end. Then Megumi shows up, uses his domain to help them escape.
But then they run into Toji again.
Talk about bad timing. Toji goes straight for Megumi, the strongest one left.
And then Jogo shows up.
Attacks everyone. And then he confronts Sukuna.
Because the twins make Yuji eat a finger, right? To get Sukuna's help.
Desperate times. But Jogo underestimates Sukuna. Makes a deal with him.
Thinking he can land a hit on the King of Curses?
What a mistake.
Sukuna just destroys him. Total annihilation.
It's a terrifying display of power. And then Sukuna senses something.
Megumi's in trouble, right? Fighting Toji.
He intervenes, saves Megumi, but unleashes even more destruction.
Poor Yuji. He gets control back and sees the aftermath.
It's traumatizing. And then, finally, Todo and Yutahime arrive.
They were delayed by all the released curses.
Yeah, but now their mission changes. They need to help their allies.
But for Yuji, it gets worse. He sees Nanami and Kugisaki.
He dead. Killed by Mahito.
It pushes him over the edge. Mahito's just so cruel.
But Todo helps Yuji, reminds him why they fight.
And together, they take down Mahito using that awesome boogie-woogie technique.
A hard-won victory, for sure. But Mahito's gone.
So what about the fake Geto?
Yeah, Mahito's gone, but the mastermind behind all this is still out there.
The fake Geto. What's his deal? Like, what's his endgame?
Well, he reveals himself after Mahito is defeated, and it turns out his goals are way different than the curses.
Like, he's not just about destruction and chaos.
Nope. He's got this whole other plan, something much bigger and honestly a lot creepier.
Oh, great. What is it?
He basically wants to force an evolution of humanity using cursed energy.
Okay, that sounds pretty ominous. How's he planning to do that?
Well, first, he absorbs Mahito, like takes in his soul and all his power.
He's got those soul manipulation powers now.
Yeah. And with those, he takes control of one of Tenjin's barriers. That means he's got power over everyone inside that barrier.
So it's like he's puppeteering people. That's messed up.
It gets even worse. He starts targeting people with those dormant, cursed techniques.
The ones who could be sorcerers but haven't awakened yet.
Exactly. And then, get this, he also goes after people who've been force-fed cursed objects.
Like those things with ancient sorcerer souls trapped inside.
Yep, he's basically turning regular people into superpowered soldiers against their will.
And we see what happens to Megumi's stepsister, Sumiki.
Poor Sumiki. She becomes a vessel for one of those ancient sorcerers.
It's heartbreaking, and it implies this is happening all over Japan.
Thousands of people are being turned into weapons.
And then, on top of all that, he releases 10 million cursed spirits on Tokyo. It's insane. The city's in ruins, the world is in chaos.
It's all part of his plan, though. Distract the authorities, reveal the existence of curses to the public.
And escape with the prison realm.
Exactly. He gets away with Gojo, still trapped inside. The government tries to cover it up.
But it's too late. Everything's changed.
And inside Jujutsu High, things are falling apart. The higher-ups, they're panicking.
They make some crazy decisions.
They reinstate Geto's death penalty, even though it's not really him.
And they declare Gojo an accomplice, sentencing him to stay in the prison realm.
They're throwing him under the bus to save themselves.
What about Principal Yaga?
They sentence him to death, too. And the worst part, they order Yuji's immediate execution.
No way. But Yuji's their strongest student.
It doesn't matter to them. They're scared and desperate. And to make matters even worse, Yuji's executioner is Yuta Okatsu.
Yuta, the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
The one and only. Special grade sorcerer, connected to the Queen of Curses. It's a crazy cliffhanger to end the season on.
So many questions left unanswered. What's going to happen to Yuji? Can they stop Geto's plan without Gojo? What about those 10 million curses?
It's going to be wild to see how it all plays out in Season 3.
And Season 2 was a roller coaster. Gojo and Geto's past, the Shibuya Incident, so many twists and turns.
And it looks like Season 3 is going to be even crazier.
What does Geto's new humanity even look like? What role will Yuta play?
Can our heroes really overcome all this? We'll have to wait and see.
That's it for our Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
We're so excited for Season 3, and we can't wait to break it all down with you when it drops. Until then, stay safe out there, and keep an eye out for those cursed spirits.